Hey there, YouTubers. CJ Brushers 1996 here. Today, I have a pretty cool video for you. This is an ARB bull bar. Actually, I can show you. It is this 3521 570K Toyota 4Runner 2014 on. This is a full bull bar bumper. As you can see, if you just watched my last video, the deer I hit messed up my front end. I replaced this fender headlight, fender bracket, all this plastic in here, and that fender bracket in there, that black one you can see, and the mount. So I had a hefty fab bumper on here, and the deer missed it by about 6 inches and hit this corner. So it nailed my bumper pretty good, caved this in. This whole corner here got caved in. So with the high deer ratio in my area, I figured I would spend the extra money and go full bore for this ARB bumper. I actually got the bumper for 400 bucks off of Marketplace. It was scratch and dent. You can see all these scratches on it. So somebody, it was probably like an eBay, or not eBay, a FedEx or UPS auction. And then I got the mounting kit. That was $700. So I'm gonna sell my hefty fab bumper for probably $500, $600, $700. So we'll see. This is where I'm at now. I've put in the fog light. The deer broke the other fog light. I had to order one. That's coming from eBay. So this whole system here, I gotta actually take out because you gotta put the mounting bolts through that hole. So it'll be in the way. The other thing I did was I put these LED markers on from the front. These are blinkers and marker lights. That's the fog light. Now I'm doing my winch. So this is a Badlands 12,000 pound winch. I had it on my hefty fab for like 2 months until I got hit. Before I got hit, I should say. And this had to be clocked. The handle is usually upright here, obviously, but since this winch mounts on the face as the bottom instead of, which is stronger this way, you have to clock this so you can still reach it from the front. So that was pretty simple. You just take these 2 bolts off, slide this out, and then there's like 10 or 12 Allen 3mm Allen socket head cap screws on the front or on this face here. You take them off and then you just rotate that, put it back together, and vice versa, or reverse your order there. These I loosened up. They were like the other way, so they were really tight. I gotta get all this into position and tighten them down. This is another thing, because I have the remote wireless wireless remote for this. Don't mind this rust pit. I can't mount it in the middle on all these holes and stuff, so I have to shift it over. But you can see these mounting holes will have mounted nothing, so I made a plate that will sandwich the back here, and I will have to just drill new holes for the front here. I put longer bolts in there, and I also silicone them. So that'll be good. And then once I do that, I have to then make a Fairlead mount. There's a $140 kit that ARB wants you to buy to mount the Fairlead, the Haas Fairlead, which I have, not a roller Fairlead, because this is synthetic rope. And I don't want to buy that. So I'm going to make my own. It'll be better and cheaper, and it'll be right here. So I got to do that. I got to get longer bolts for the front too. And then and then it can go onto the truck. For now, I could also mount those big crush mounts onto the truck. That's like the first thing you do. But it pays to watch people's YouTube videos on these, because I've watched like 3 or 4. I think it's like Mr. Lead Slinger, some other garage, and some other guy. Mr. Lead Slinger has a great video on his prep of like putting all this stuff into it, like the lights and the winch too. I didn't even think about clocking this forward until his video, so props to him. And then the other guy got so super frustrated about this grill down here being too long and you have to cut it, but like that's just a generic grill they probably have in a dozen other bumpers, and they don't want to have to make molds for every single one. So I understand his frustrations. If I paid full price for this and had to do all this stuff still, I would also be frustrated. So that's understandable. But when you're doing off-road stuff, everything's sheet metal. This is all weldment sheet metal. That's all weldment sheet metal. It's not like these are rocket parts. They're not going to fit together. So I can understand it. But at the same time, it's just like you know what you're getting yourself into. So far, build quality seems really nice. ARB can't ship anything worth their life, because I've had 3 of these shipped out to me. The third one made it here, but the whole side of the box was ripped open. So far I don't know if I'm missing anything, but from what I could tell, I'm not. I don't know yet, but I couldn't find the front license plate bracket, so I might be missing that. But other than that, I don't see anything I'm missing right now. I haven't really gone through everything though. Just like the mounts and stuff I've seen, but like all the bolts, I don't know. So I'll make this work. I'll show you guys that, and then I will start making the blocks I'll flip this over. This thing is so heavy, by the way, especially with the winch on there. Probably gonna have to use the crane to lift it, but I will drill these 2 holes, sandwich that, do all that, make this work. That'll look nice. Then I will flip this over so you guys can see the front, and so I can take measurements on the Fairlead stuff. So I will see you after that. Alrighty, so this is the front of the bumper here. I've lifted it up and I mounted this box very rigidly. It's nice, perfect, just how I wanted it. And this is the antenna. We can tuck that and probably zip tie it to that. The control box has this little wire here, plugs in. I tried to hide that as best I could. This is the grill that I had to modify. You have to cut the edge. I sanded it down. This is a little door. Close the door, so you can reach your disengage. Now I have to be all the way up to my shin, halfway up my forearm. You could rotate this winch one more position. Actually, you can't. In physical, yes, you can, but the lever would most likely hit the weldment here on the side. You can't see it, but trust me, I thought about it. Because these aren't like 10-degree moves, they're like 45-degree moves. So you can't like dial it in real nice. But this door closes, boom, nice. And this is my mounting setup. I'll go around the back here. This table is perfect. This is just one we had at work here. And my mounting plate that I made is this piece. So this is just a piece of angle aluminum that I bedlined, and I drilled the holes for the brackets, or for the box, and then it just sandwiches the little ears of the plate up here. And then the front ones, I had to Dremel that one out, slot it out. And then I got all new stainless hardware nuts, lock washers, flat washers, bolts, and the screws that screw the box together. They're around here somewhere. So this is the old stuff that was holding that box down onto these disgusting mounts over here that I had to modify for my last bumper onto these chintzy mounts. And then these are all the screws that were holding the box together. And this is why I could never take the box apart. I just got really lucky yesterday and put all my weight into the unscrewing. And I happen to have a bunch of these screws. So had those screws, had the perfect length, everything. So far it's working out a little too well. I'm expecting some really big crap to happen that won't fit or won't work. But so far it's been smooth sailing. I put some black nail polish in the holes that I paint that I drilled out so it wouldn't rust. And next I have to make a block for this Fairlead to sit right here. it has to sit further out, not at an angle, but straight up and down. It'll probably sit around here with this much gap. And you can see I have modified this for my last bumper. It wouldn't fit and I had to take down like 200 thou off the top. It wouldn't fit the, what's this called? The hefty fab. So I got to make a block that bolts to with the mounting of the winch, and then it'll have slightly, actually I might just need to use bolts straight in, or it'll be offset because it'll be out more. But if that makes sense, I have to have a block here to be held in by this, and then have a tapped hole for this so that this can bolt onto that face. But it has to also be stepped out so that it doesn't catch this corner if you're winching at a weird angle. So it has to be stepped out like pretty decent amount, like 1.5 inches it feels like. So I will measure all that up, and then I'll mill it out in the Bridgeport here, and then it's ready to go on the truck. I brought the truck inside so it'll get nice and warm overnight. Tomorrow I'm gonna do this probably, and I don't want to crack any of the plastics on there. I also got to remember to bring in my little reciprocating vibro whatever saw, oscillating saw, to cut the bumpers up. And yeah, that's pretty much steady going so far. Again, I haven't really run into any problems besides my fog light I can't put in because it's broken. This side worked well though. Looks pretty good. And I got a notification that the wire, I want to make a piggyback harness for the blinkers instead of scotch locking and splicing. And those shipped, but they won't be here till like halfway through the month, 2 weeks or so. So we will see. We will keep plugging along. I'm gonna draw something up for those blocks, and we'll see how that goes. I'll catch you then. All right, y'all, it's the next day. I made the blocks here for the Fairlead. These are $140 for the kit. It comes with a piece of sheet metal too, I guess, which I'll probably make out of the winch hole cover that they gave me, not you. So this is the basic setup I have. It is a slot and a threaded bolt hole in the middle, so it'll bolt like that. And then we'll have some movement up and down. And the bolt holes are so that the Fairlead can go right in the middle, and we can get a lot of purchase on there. I might take those corners off, these ones that stick out. I probably won't. To be honest here, I probably won't. I'll mock it up on here, and it'll probably stay here forever. This is not right. Like, none of these numbers are really right. This was actually measuring everything. These are just rough estimates. But it's 1.25 inches, so 1.25 by 2.5 inches, and it's 1 inch wide. So this is just dead center, so that it can take up all this surface area on the back here as support. And then I just moved the counter bore as close as I could get to without hitting through the threads, and then I just backed off the hole down here 120 thou off of each end. So it's not like I didn't really do any math. I'm a lot happier with this one, the second one. That's usually how prototyping R&D one-off stuff goes. You make 2 of them, the second one's obviously going to be better. It's not even really that on center perfect, but again, this is for a winch. It's not like we're sending this to space. So that's that. I'm going to flip the bumper face down again, push the winch up as much as I can, because this rope is pretty much at the bottom of the slot. As you can see, like if I have to winch down, it'll rub on this. So I want to push this. It's got some movement, probably 3/8 to move up. So I'm going to push the winch towards the top here, bolt these 2 bolts hard, and then come back and bolt these where they end up. So that's what I shall do. And then I brought my oscillating, oh shit, I forgot my battery. There's probably one. I think there's a couple Milwaukee batteries around here. It was in my drill. I thought I kept my drill here, but I brought it home. So I knew I should have brought the drill. Anyway, that is where we are right now. And I should have painted the touch-up last night before I went to bed, before I went home, so that it would be dry and cleaner today. But I forgot. You can't always be perfect, guys. So, yep, I'll get this Haas Fairlead mounted, and then it's ready to go on the truck. I got to trim some plastics, the 2 on each side of the radiator, the wind dams, and then throw the mounts on there, the crush mounts, and then we'll be all set, ready to rock and roll. And I'll see you when we're there. Alrighty, so instead of flipping it on its face, I just pulled up on the inside on the winch, tightened down the bottom, pulled up on this side, tightened down this one, and then I tightened these down. Now, there's at least Mr. Leadslinger's video says he got a box end wrench into there. I don't know how the hell he did that, but the easiest way is to just get a long extension short socket, and you can get it right onto that bolt. So, just do that. I don't know how he got a wrench in there, because you can't even like turn it. So don't waste your time on a wrench. Now I'm going to loosen these bottom 2, and I can slide these blocks down as far as I can. And then this winch is still, this rope is not in the center, which is not great, but I don't know. For the most part, I'll be winching up. I'm gonna only get stuck going up or going down, so I have to be pulled up, which makes sense in my head. So I will do that. Alrighty, so here is the trimmed bumper piece. As you can see, one side is obviously broken because of the deer. I have this piece, brand spanking new. It was like 60 bucks. I got a cut. It's kind of like right along here. So you basically don't use the whole back 3/4 of it. I've got my little oscillating tool. I found some batteries here. I trimmed up the fangs, whatever you want to call them. Put them back in. Trimmed up the grill here. And you could just take a Dremel and kind of smooth out all the edges that you cut, because it looks pretty shitty when you cut it. And yeah, I haven't really done anything more except for I got that all situated, the Fairlead and everything. The winch is now legit done. So I put this grill back in. This is officially ready to go on the truck. So now I have to move on to the truck stuff. And that is grill trim, the fangs, the bumper, and I got to take these air dams out. I trimmed them for the Hefty Fab, but I believe you need to trim them more for this one. So that's the last thing I have left to trim, and then I can get the crush mounts on here and start mocking it up. This is what's left of the bumper. Yeah, that oscillating tool is great for certain things, but once you get the depth of the blade, you got to kind of like take it out and and run it at an angle, and then it starts jittering out. So it's not the best for every situation, but it was good enough for this. And everything I just cleaned up with the Dremel and a drum sander. So I got pretty good corners, and then I ran the deburring whirligig around the edges. So it came out pretty good. Pretty happy with it. I don't know how it fits yet, so I'm not 100% happy with it, but we'll see. It's gonna be today or tomorrow that I'm gonna be actually putting this on here. Probably with this forklift is why I have it over here. Don't mind the leaking puddle. It's just happiness peeing out. Alrighty, I'll start doing that and get the mounts on the truck, trim the air dams, and then I'll get back to you. All right, guys, I skipped 1 or 2 steps. I may have been a little careless with not recording anything, but that's because my buddy Dan, shout out to him if you're watching, which you probably aren't. We stayed here till like 2 in the morning putting this on, so it is very close to being done. I have like 3 more things to do. I gotta put the piping on the bumper cut. I have to put I have to cut the fender liners and put the rock guards in the corners. The main one is under there. That was a pain in the butt. The winches are hooked up. I had some hella lights I got on here. I put my antenna back on. And I put some LED marker bulbs in. My Amazon order came, so I can finally finish this. The fender liner came, so I'll have to trim that one too. Yeah, it's coming along pretty good, pretty good. The only thing I'm waiting on now is the fog light, adjusting cage from eBay, and the plugs I ordered to make a splice, like a Y adapter piggyback for the blinker. So those are on their way. I don't know when they're going to be here, but that is pretty much it. The instructions suck ass. Watch Mr. Leadslinger's video, and I think it's called Wagon Works. Although Wagon Works fucked up. You really have to read ahead, and it'll say for non-KDSS or KDSS trucks. On a non-KDSS, you don't have to drill that 3/4 inch hole in the back. And those long nut capture inserts, you don't use those for the front nut. You use those for the back bolt. So don't do what he did. He bent them and used them right for that first one that's like, an 1.5 inches in, when it's for the back one that's literally, it only sticks out like, 3/4 inch more out the front of the frame. So use the nut captures. You do have to bend them up to get back there. So he did that right, but he used it for the front one. So that's really the only thing that I noticed that was kind of doofy. The leveling this, squaring it, doing all that jazz is also a pain in the butt. We spent like 45 minutes doing that, and it's good enough to where I think it's too far passenger, a little bit like, 1/4 inch. But for me, it's not going to the moon. It's not a rocket ship. It is a truck. So I used the forklift, and we put that on. I weighed it, and it was 180 pounds before the mounts and everything. Here's all the leftover hardware. This is for the radar, the KDSS stuff, all that jazz. Nothing is labeled for the mounts. A lot of stuff for like the fog light bezels and the front plastic things. Those are all labeled. So that's kind of easy, but everything else is a pain in the butt. I messed up and I used the wrong bolts for these. I had to retake the 3 out. I used M10s, so I had to take them out, use the 12s, which was fine. I took them one at a time so I didn't mess up my square. Winch, I'm happy with it. I routed the cables. I zip tied them together down there, you can see, and then they go in and they're hooked up. I got also the battery tie down. It adds 50 horsepower, so if you want to increase you do that. But the only thing left is I got to get the air dam back in here and put these clips in, because this is kind of wiggly right now. But other than that, it is good. So probably another couple hours of work, little toiling away, just to get everything dialed in, and I'll finally be able to drive this. It's been like 3 weeks. I've been driving it's actually a really nice truck, but I've been driving my dad's 2019 F-150 crew cab long bed, so it's like a freaking land yacht. But it looks pretty slick. I will do another quick video of it all buttoned up, but I am liking it. Definitely doesn't look like a 4Runner, but it looks cool. So I'll catch you when I button it up. All right, y'all. Holy shit, that was ridiculous. It's like painting. It's 90% a little bullshit. That's so annoying. Yeah, I don't know. I would never in my life spend $3,000 on this. I'd be really upset. Not upset, but frustrated. For $1,000, not a bad price, but man, oh man, a lot of the instructions do suck. They didn't tell me to put this. They don't tell you to put this stripping on, and you can't take this off while this is on. So if you ever have to take the headlights out or anything, you got to take this whole bumper off and to get that part out. So I kind of jostled it free, and I had to cut it in half to get it in there because it wouldn't go around that corner. So it's just stuff like that that's really annoying. I put some hella lights on there. I might, well, I'm going to sand off the hella because it's raised, spot putty and all that stuff. Paint them yellow and do like Casey used to have with the smiley faces. I think that would look cool. And I did my antenna here again. That's I just drilled a hole, tapped it, and then put a nut on the inside. So that's kind of like my front end marker slash. It looks cool and I like it. So the only next thing to do to the rig, as every retard says online, is I have my Gobi roof rack I got to put on there. I'm waiting for the mounts. I got stainless mounts. I paid for them like 3 weeks ago, but their lead time is like 3 or 4 weeks. So that will be the next project. The fog light also will be the next project. So this is done right now, done enough to drive. The only thing is missing is the fog light. So all my Amazon stuff came in, the fender liner came in, all that jazz. So I was able to put it together and it is drivable now. So there is a fender liner in. I had I put all the stone guards on. I'm obviously gonna mount that hook and rope somewhere else. It's gonna just rub here. So I won't do that. I might lead some out and wrap it around and hook it to yourself on the front or something. I don't know. Or make like a little tab with a hole in it to clip it to. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Don't know how it's gonna look from the side. All the pictures online from ARB are basically all straight on. And every Viper cuts too. Viper cuts look pretty doofy from the side. And I don't know if this will look like it has an underbite. Like I said earlier, it definitely doesn't look like a 4Runner, but it looks pretty cool. I love the fangs on a 4Runner and the fog lights, and this just gets rid of it. So this would be also a really good thing if you had like a limited, which I don't think these actually do fit on limited. So sorry to burst your bubble there. But this is the almost finished rig, guys. Now I can drive this home instead of that pickup. So I'm going to just double check nothing's under the tires, nothing that'll pop them, and then I'll get out of here. This was like another 2 hours of buttoning stuff up. So I'm kind of over it right at this point. Took like 2 or 3 days. So if you guys have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.